Well, we've got something a little bit different for you today. It's the X6 model handheld that comes with another of these 640 by 480 IPS displays. The specifications say that it has a CPU, the ATJ2273S, which is a 32-bit processor, and comes with the RTOS onboard operating system, which I haven't used before. Now it's a 3.5-inch model. It says it has dual stereo speakers, we'll check that out, and that it will accept an SD card up to 64 gigabytes. It also states that the charging rate is 2 amps. Now as far as emulators, it says it's got Super Famicom, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, Famicom, NES, Mega Drive, MAME, SMC, CPS and SMD. Whether or not you can add others to this, well, we'll find out. It also says that it supports 2 players and a large screen. So let's see what we've got. In the box then, we have the usual array of accessories. However, you may notice something straight away, and that's that this comes with an old school 3-pin connector, but I used to have this all the time for my SCART connection. You've got the charging cable, which is Type-C, thankfully, and you've got a super basic set of instructions. First thing to note is just how light this device is. Much lighter than the R36S, which is a little worrying seeing as it's larger. However, you'll notice that the buttons at the bottom are incredibly cheap looking. These look like they've come out of a McDonald's Happy Meal. Now the dual speaker claim may not be quite as accurate as it's stated. We'll have to find out. Now this uses the lower profile Switch style joysticks, which, let's be honest, they're tried and true, they do the job. Now on the rear of the device we have just 2 triggers, unlike the R36S which has 4, and then on the side we have a reset button as well as a power button. Ports on the top where you've got a gamepad port, the TV out which does use that old school connection, and the charging port. The whole thing can be disassembled with just 6 screws. We might have to give that a go and see what's inside this little bad boy. And then on this side we've got the volume rocker and the micro SD card slot. We've got the same 5 levels of backlight brightness that we had on the fake PlayStation Portable device, which is a bit worrying. Wonder if this is the same operating system as that. Into the emulation area, we've got our Super Famicom, Mega Drive, NES, MAME, Game Boy Advance, and all the other emulators we spoke about. Let's go through and test out the performance and see what we're dealing with here. Now, I absolutely love the Super Famicom. This has quickly become my favorite retro console to play, at least on these types of devices. And I don't like the positioning here. I would have preferred these sticks to be down here, especially on a device that is this low powered. As you can see and probably hear, some of the audio is actually glitching out. It's struggling to run Super Famicom, but it isn't the worst. It's not as bad as the device we looked at yesterday. And the screen, well, it has very low viewing angles. What I mean by that is if you're looking directly on as you are, then you can kind of see something, but as we tilt the device, what I'm seeing is something more like that. There is a dedicated menu button, which I do actually really like. In here you can save game states quite easily, definitely better than the last device we looked at. You can also choose to have it scale to fit the full size or the original size, and you can remap the buttons in there as well. We've got a few big names in here: Donkey Kong, Contra, Mortal Kombat, Aladdin, Addams Family. There's some great titles. The way these are displayed is not exactly ideal, especially if you're used to something that's based on a different operating system. I've been using Arc OS recently, and also the Garlic OS. Both of those are far superior to this layout. Oh, it does come with Chrono Trigger though. I just couldn't recommend the X6 over the R36 or any of the other more budget-focused handhelds that are able to run all of the games that we've looked at today at flawless frame rates. Unfortunately, there are just one too many negatives for me to recommend it unless you really do need the cheapest device possible.